morning, afternoon, evening. I hope you're well. Welcome back to another tutorial video here across on my YouTube channel. I am actually filming this one in the middle of the day, so it is, well, it's a little bit lighter than it usually is. Of course, usually what I tend to do, because I do these around the work that I need to do for Crafter's Companion, as you know, with me doing it in my own time, I tend to do it at the end of the day. So once I've kind of finished everything and I've had my tea, I'll come along and I'll do one of these videos. But I thought what I wanted to do today, I've been doing a lot of errands within the morning and got a little bit of work done. I just want to take a little bit of a break. Usually when I take a break, that's when I'll go and do errands or a bit of housework or that sort of stuff. But I just thought, let's just chill. Because within this one, we're going to do something that I've not actually done so far when it comes to these videos, and that's colour. So I thought, to chill and colour, let's film it at the exact same time. We can put it here on my YouTube channel. So we're going to be using tri-blends, which I know for many of you that follow me are not going to be shocked at that one, because you're going to be, yeah, I know, Craig loves his tri-blends, which I absolutely do. So that's what we're going to be using. Plus we're going to be using a stamp set, Christmas stamp set, that's a couple of years old. Can't remember if it was last year. I think it was last year. And in actual fact, it is these ones here. So we've got the alpaca my scarf that we can see. It's penguining. I can never say that. Penguining. It's penguining to look a lot. It's penguining to look like a lot like Christmas. Seriously, how can you confuse a guy like me? Give me something like that. Hap-pea Christmas, which is the one that we're going to be using. And then you've also got that Humpug as well. So these were the four that came, and we're going to be using Hap-pea Christmas. I have got my tri-blends here. I've got all of mine in the case, so that's what we're going to be using. I want to say, off the top of my head, I think we're going to use the light green blend. Possibly, I'm not sure about the alpine green. Not sure. We'll bring it out anyway. I think, yes, it's the dull green blend. It's not the alpine green blend. So that can go in there. FYI, my tri-blends are not in any order whatsoever. We're going to do red for the hat. And let's do probably the fair skin blend for the little antennas. I also need the ice grey blend as well. So they're really the four that we're going to use. You could get away with using just one green if you want to, but I want to have two shades of green when it comes to the peas. I want the peas to be a different shade than the actual pea pod. The card we're going to do, very, very simple. It's going to be a square card, simple matte and layer. We're going to focus on the colouring, and we'll add one of the sentiments as well, because these are our high quality photopolymer stamps. So that is the four that we're going to use. Fair skin blend, dull green blend, dark red blend, ice grey blend, and also the light green blend. That's what we're going to be using for our Hap-pea Christmas. So let's set that one out the way for now. So let's take, so that's one we're going to use, so I'm going to set them out the way. I'm going to take my tri-blends and move them out the way. So that's all of these ones. Then what I'm also going to need is my alcohol proof ink pad. I'm just going to use Flagstone actually, just so I've not got as dark or shaped outline when it comes to the outline of our image. And then of course what we're going to need our Nina cardstock. So I've got my Nina cardstock. Now this video here, this is where the tutorials that I do unedited really show off, because I do not have another one coloured. Let's come back into shot just now. I don't have another one coloured. I'm not going to skip to one that I've done already earlier on. I'm not going to come along and then edit this. As you guys know, I don't edit any of them. Whatever I do is what you see. For those that are just joining me, which quite literally means if I run out of juice and I've forgotten to top up, I'll dart down to the kitchen and get some juice. If my doorbell goes, I'll go and answer the doorbell. And I know that's what many of you love. You'll love that real, that authentic tutorials that I do. What I do is what you see, and that also means you can craft along with me at your own time, because I'm not skipping or I'm not jumping ahead. I am colouring step by step, certainly when it comes to this video. So let's get started. Where's my large stamping platform? I done just a light bit of reshuffling last night or yesterday afternoon, so I just need to remember where I put a couple of things. Bad move, I know, absolutely bad move. Moving stuff. It's one of those things, it's a creative mess. You know, some people may look and go, how do you know where everything is? Which is going to be the same for you guys at home. But I know, you tidy up, can't find it. That's it. The worst thing I can do is tidy up, because then I can't find it. But let's jump straight on and let's get stamping and colouring. So let's move them out of the way. Let's also take, what am I wanting to do? Let's take our Nina cardstock and then let's trim it. So I'm going to trim, I'm thinking, because of the size of the stamp, I'm thinking the card will be about 6 by 6. So let's just cut this to 5.5 by 5.5. I may trim it again later on. I'll see what we're like. So I might end up doing a 7 by 7 card, or of course these will fit on a 5 by 5. Actually, they would just fit on a 4 by 4, I would have thought. So let's put our Nina cardstock into play here, 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 and here. And then let's bring in our stamp. Hap-pea Christmas. So you can see mine's is well loved. I've also got a mask for it that I had created. Obviously, I must have done that last year because I've not used these this year. And let's pop our image. Now, I am going to use the Hap-pea Christmas. I'm not going to stamp it just yet because I don't quite know whereabout I want it. And in actual fact, I might use that mask, seeing as it's there. So the mask that I have used here, let's see, have I got my, we have, now what have I done with it? Now I've got, so the one, so I do use, where are we? As many of you know by now, when it comes to masking, I do use Sticks to masking sheets. I'm a big fan of the masking sheets. I'm trying to look for my Crafter's Companion masking roll. What have I done? It's just to, I know many of you will be aware and familiar of our Crafter's Companion masking roll. It is, of course, on a roll. What have I done with it? So you can use either or. If you've got another branded masking sheets like I have, you can use them. But if you've got our masking roll, what you would need to do, and the reason I want to show you this is because the masking sheets you can stamp straight onto masking sheets because they've got a textured background. Stamp and then you can then cut around. With Crafter's Companion masking roll, what you would need to do is put a piece onto a bit of cardstock and then stamp, because of course it's on the roll. What have I done with, I had it in one of, now did I take it to Hobby Maker? I think I did. I think I did. Oh, that's a bummer that I can't show you. Okay, well, many of you will be familiar with our Crafter's Companion masking roll. No, I don't know where it is. So I use the sheets from Sticks too. If you've got a Crafter's Companion masking roll, that's going to be absolutely fine as well. Right, let's dive straight around and then let's add here. So let's ink up. So once again, this is our alcohol proof ink pad flagstone. Because we're going to be doing alcohol colouring, we need our alcohol proof ink pad. And let's stamp that out. Let's give that a really, really good press. Do you know something that's really, really bugging me? Where that roll's gone. Because it's always in my little tray. There we go. So we've got our 2 peas in a pod. Now what we could do is the mask that we've created for it, or I've created for it, what you can then do is then peel that. So any masks that I create for my stamp, I always keep them on the original packaging, so I don't lose them. That can then go. I don't actually know if I want to use it. I think, well, I just like that single image. I don't want a line of peas in a pod. Although what you would do is put your mask over the top, stamp, and then that's going to give you, of course, that definition. That's going to give you that depth. These ones will be on the foreground, and then the two at the side are going to be way in the background. So that's how you would use your masks. If I get time, and if I remember, I might show you it right at the end of this video. But let's see if I remember. That's the key thing, remembering. So we've got that. That's now stamped out that we can see here. So I don't need that now. So let's move that out the way. What we are going to do while we're here is let's just clean our stamp. It's always good to do these things in the videos as well, because then for those that maybe forget or have never seen things like our stamp cleaner and you've got them at home, it's always nice just to have a little recap. I always just hold my stamp in my hand and then give it a spritz. By spritzing your stamp, it means you're only spritzing a small amount. You're only needing a small amount. So we're just going to give that a clean, and then we're going to give that a dry. Remember, the clean side, that will get completely dirty. That will get manky. And then on the dry side, that is then, of course, just drying off your stamp. That one will come out, so you can clean that under lukewarm water or something. It will still stain, by the way, but it'll take a lot of that dirty ink colour away. And then that is my stamp done, cleaned. So let's pop it back on, put it in. I'm going to leave it in front of me so that hopefully I remember and come back and do a masking technique just to show you. So in that case, let's leave that there. Tell you what, we're going to use, that's the one we're going to use, but let's do, while we're here right now, before we forget, let's do a masking technique, just so that you can see how it's used. So for this one, what I'm going to do, let's actually just cut our cardstock to, let's do 5 by 7, because that will show off the length of this stamp, because obviously it is a longer stamp, so therefore the masking technique is really going to show off really, really well. So let's pop that into place. So we're going to do what we've done a moment ago. So let's stick that down. Let's bring back the stamp that we've just cleaned. Hey ho. And for this one, we're going to put that as central as we can. We're going to get that as central as possible, give or take, and then we're going to then press, and then that's it into place. So once again, what we can do is let's use our alcohol proof ink pad, because although I may not necessarily colour this one, I'm not going to colour this one because I'm going to use the other one, at least then I can just pop that into a pack or something and use another time. So let's take my stamped impression, lift, and there is our 2 peas in a pod. Let's bring our mask that I've done previously. So what you would do with the mask, with our Crafter's Companion masket roll, what we're going to do, roll a piece out onto a bit of cardstock and then stamp on it. This one here, what we're going to do, let's ink up again. Now I'm not going to put it on my stamping platform because this is really just to show you, and I don't want to move my stamp that I've already done. So take a bit of your masking sheet, or if this is your Crafter's Companion masket roll, all that you would then do, roll your Crafter's Companion one out onto a bit of scrap cardstock or card, and then there it is. So there's your design, and then all that you're going to do is you're going to fussy cut all the way around. Now when it comes to your masket sheets, masket roll, what you're going to want to do, is I like to go right to the black line, right to the edge. You might want to leave a little gap, that's up to you, but I go right to the edge and then cut out. And you can reuse them over and over again. So the more you use them, the muckier they're going to get. So this is the one that I've used a few times. So let's bring this back in. And then because I've cut right to the black line, I'm not going to get any gap when it comes to my stamping. So let's make sure that is as lined up as possible, like so. And then what we're then going to do is that's of course bang on. So I'm going to move that along here. And then I'm going to move it. Now, of course, because of the length, I am going to end up stamping off the page, which I'm fine with because that adds to the effect. So I'm happy with that. Not kind of happy, I am happy with that. And really, when it comes to the backdrop layer, so this will be in the background, despite the fact at the moment we're stamping over our design there, it will in the end be away in the back. I'm not bothered about it not being a full image because it adds to the effect. So we're going to stamp that into place, and then we're going to lift so I can see the full design there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm still going to try and keep within this line here that I've got. So I am on that line along there. So let's use our discs. Now you don't need to follow the same line. The only reason I'm doing that is because I want my image to kind of still be on the same way. Yeah, I'm going to be happy with that. So let's ink up with our flagstone alcohol proof, and let's turn around and press that in. Lift. Yep, happy with that. Full impression. Move that out the way. We can move that out the way now. And before I do the reveal, let's just clean that excess ink off there. Let's bring in our stamp cleaner again and clean that. So let's take our stamp, give that a good clean, lift, and then rub off. And what I would say as well, at HQ the other day I was filming content for Crafter's Companion Craft Club, and when I do the Craft Club filming I work with Sam and Jamie, and I was using a stamp, and afterwards Sam had said to me, what happens when your stamp, obviously it was a different stamp, what happens if it gets dirty or it loses its cling or that? All that you would do, usually I would say under lukewarm water, or still use your stamp cleaner. So if any of your stamps, photopolymer stamps, acrylic stamps, if they start to lose their tackiness because they are a self-cling, then just do exactly the same. Just give them a clean on the opposite side and then give them a dry, and then that's going to bring back the cling from your stamps. So the stamp cleaner doesn't just work for the actual stamped side, it also works to clean and cling on the other side. So that's that done. So I won't need that stamp now. So let's just pop that back on there. And then what we can do is we can do the reveal, and then I can put that mask back on the back of my carrier. So let's slowly take that one off. So what I'm going to do is let's go back in. Before we do that, I'm going to take a quick drink. And then we're going to carefully peel that off. And there we go. We've got our line of pods. 2 peas in a pod. Or 6 peas and 3 pods. And, you know, you could keep going. You know, you could mask that, and that, and then start to, of course, create a full-on background. But we're going to do... Did you know something? I think I might use that one. I think I might just use that one because I like it. Right, let's take a bit of scrap card and then let's start to do a bit of colouring. So I'm going to take, here's a little bit of scrap Nina. Now I learnt this from Sheena the other day when I was working for her. if you're testing your colours, irrelevant if it's alcohol based, water based, whatever it is, when you're testing your colours, make sure you test them on the same bit of cardstock that you're away to colour onto. So I'm away to colour onto Nina, so therefore I'm just going to test my colours onto a scrap piece of Nina as well, just so that I can get the right strength on the right card. Alright, so that one, I think I'm going to go, I think the light green blend. Have we got any other greens? Let's have a look at that alpine green blend. So, yeah, no, I definitely don't want that one. So the dull green blend I'm going to do for the pod, and then the light green blend I'm going to do for the actual peas. Now I'm going to get, I think some of my tri-blends are starting to run out. So a couple of weeks ago I invested in some more. So just in case, let's see, there's my light green blend, and I've got a dull green. Yep, there's the dull green. I'm going to bring, and then what did I also say as well? I think I said peas, didn't I? And that was pod. I think, did I say it that way around? Or no? Alright, let's just go for it. Let's just go for it. Exactly what I'm going to do. Right. So the pod, let's go and start to colour the pod. So I'm going to go in with the lightest. Now I'm going to move my, because usually I would colour like that, but that's not great for you guys. So let me turn my body around so that we can see that a little bit better. So I'm going to go in with the light tone. Now I want it to be dark that runs along the base. So therefore I'm going to start with the light tone. And I'm going to start from the top. So essentially where I want it to be light. I'm going to come down about 2/3 of the way. No, I'm not. I'm going to come all the way down. You see, I'm going back to front here. There we go. So I'm going and I'm filling in the whole of the pod within the light tone. So I kind of think of it as priming my cardstock. So I'm saturating my cardstock with the light tone. And even if you just use one tone at a time, I mean, look how smooth that flow is of colour. But we're going to go into the darker tone, so we're flipping to the other side, keeping in mind this is the dull green blend. So what I'm going to do is just very, very lightly, I'm going to come down. And then with these ones, you've kind of got the shaded guide for you. So therefore, where we've got those shaded lines, that is where I want to be the darkness. And I'm going to come in, not quite 1/3 of the way, but just a little bit further up. Then we're going to go into the mid-tone. So we're going to blend that out. I always like to do circular motions. It's something I've always done when it comes to colouring, and I still think that it helps nowadays. Even although with our tri-blends or any of our classic pens or Spectrum Noir alcohol pens, you're still going to get a nice, smooth, flowing blend if you just colour back and forth. But I do like to, of course, still do my circular blend. And then I've gone back into that light tone and I'm just crossing over that mid-tone now. So we're just crossing over and blending that out. I'm just going to lightly go over. Now the lighter the colour, the more bleach there is. So if you were to then go over all of what I've just done here, you're going to bleach that colour ever so slightly. But what happens is that still gives you a really blend. But how simple was that? So simple. The alcohol will evaporate and therefore you'll get more of a seamless blend. I'm just going to go back and blend that bit out. I've got my scrap underneath because then therefore you can see there it is starting to bleed through, and we can just see it slightly picking it up on my scrap card. Now if I went onto my glass mat or craft mat that is a non-porous surface, then what will happen is the ink could bounce off your glass mat or craft mat and then start to seep back through, which we don't want. So therefore your piece of scrap, and it can quite literally be scrap, is going to capture any of the ink. So that's how. So I'm going to do like a stamped image at a time. What I mean by that is I'm not going to do these other pods just yet. We're going to carry on with the rest of them. So I always like to, and would always recommend, colour section by section. Now the reason I've done that full pod is that's because it is a full design. Now I'm just going off in little sections. So I've gone in with that light tone, and I'm now just going to go in with that darker tone, blend that out with the mid-tone, and then go into the light tone and blend that out. I'm then going to do the same here. So I'm starting each time, starting from scratch. So a new section, starting with my light tone. So we're going to go in with our light tone, like so. We're then going to go into the dark tone, and where we've got those dark highlight lines, we're going to colour. Then going to go into the middle of my pen, which is the mid-tone, and we're just going to blend that out. And then we're going to go into the light tone and blend that out. Already you can see the alcohol is starting to evaporate there, and you're starting to get that blend and that depth right in that corner. Starting to happen here. And then we're just going to go in with the light tone. We're going to then just work our way just slightly in with the dark tone. Going to go into the mid-tone, blend out, and then finish off with the light tone again. And then that's it. It's all that we're going to do just now when it comes to that pod there. Probably will add at the end, it's always worthwhile doing if you've got it, either from Spectrum Noir or Sheena, and that is a white gel pen. I always like to add a little bit of a white gel pen. I'm going to, let's pop that back. Where's it? Sure had. There we go, I've got a couple of white gel pens there. So now that we've done the dull green blend for now, which is the pod, let's go in with a light green blend and do our peas. So for this one, I'm also just going to colour the full lot with the light green end. So it's the light green blend, and I've gone in with the light tone. So let's blend. That squeak is normal. And we're just going to give a really, really good lay down of colour. Let's work our way around. And then what we're going to do for this one is I'm going to have like the dark tone all the way around the edge of our pea. So I'm going to come all the way around. You maybe are going to have the dark sauce maybe just at one point of the pod. Maybe the dark source is just going to be to the top left hand corner. Keeping it as simple as I can. Going into the darker tone. Going circular motion. We're now flipping into the mid-tone. And we're going to blend that out. So we're just going to go circle, 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 crossing over that dark tone, blending out. Let's just go back in again to blend out, and then I'm going to go back to the light tone, and then we're going to blend that out like so. Because it's the lightest tone with the most bleach, I'm very quickly going to quickly colour over the whole lot just to really blend in. Now if I kept going over and over and over, I'm just going to completely de-bleach. I'm completely going to bleach out the dark tone that I've done, which I don't want to do. So leaving that just a little bit longer, I'm going to give it another quick colour over, just because I want to. Leave that just a little bit longer, and then that's starting to evaporate, and you're going to start to get the shape round of that pea. You can already starting to see it getting that shape. We're going to do the same with this one. So we're going to go in with a light tone. So let's colour circular motions and really lay down that light tone. Round and round. In every section, it pretty much is repetitiveness. It just depends on the shape, the style of whatever it is you're colouring. So for this one, I'm going to do exactly the same as what I've done there. I'm going to go round the pod, but I'm also going to come, instead of course going round the head, because we can't, because the hat's in the way, we're just going to follow that all the way round. So let's come all the way around here, like so. And then we're going to go into the mid-tone, and we're going to blend that out, like so. So come along the bottom with that mid-tone, circular motions, and then we're going to go in with the next one, which is the light tone. Don't worry if you go over the cheeks or the mouth, because the colour that we'll use will kind of bleach out the green, so it's not too bad. And then again, quickly, I'm just going to go over the whole lot that I've done with that lightest tone to just slightly bleach it out. You can see you're starting to get the shape of the pod. Let's go in with the fair skin. I think it was the fair skin I wanted to use. So let's scribble. If I do check my colours, I do just tend to do the light and the dark. I don't tend to do the middle, which it is this one that I want. So let's go in to the antlers with the light. I'm then going to go in with that darker tone. Work that round, in with the mid, like so. Lightly blend. Now when it comes to the fair skin, you're not really going to see a lot of depth. If you want it to come along with maybe, let's say, the earth brown blend, this is the light tone, and go in, and I'm kind of just dabbing my card. I don't really want to see much of the light brown. It's just creating that extra bit of darkness. You can do that. And I've used the light earth brown. Could be a variety of one of those. Doesn't have to be exactly the earth brown. Let's do the same here. So colouring in the antlers with the light tone. We're going to go in with the dark tone. We're going to blend that out with the mid-tone, and then we're going to go back with that light tone to blend out, and then I'm going to do that again. I'm just going to come round, and I'm just kind of, with the tip of the pen, I'm just kissing it to create a little bit of shade. And even then, if you still wanted to blend that out with the light tone of the fair skin blend, you can absolutely do that. So there's that pod. They're great stamps to colour. They're not overly time consuming. let's go in with my red. So let's go in with the dark red blend and the hat. So we're going to go in with the light tone. And then let's bring that into the hat. Like so. And then the dark tone, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the dark tone along the bottom. We're going to do the dark tone along here. I'm going to come just a little bit up there. And then just that little bit into there. We're going to go into the mid-tone and blend that out. We're just going to blend and then blend. And then we're going to go back into that light tone and blend that out. And then if you've got the dark blends, or sorry, if you've got the dark collection of tri-blends, you could go in with the dark red shades, that's the words I was looking for, and go in and add extra depth. You can still go in and add a little bit of extra depth afterwards with that deep tone, like so. You can already see as the alcohol evaporates, what happens is it starts to create that shape. I'm going to go in with the ice grey, so I'm using the ice grey 2, and all that I'm doing is just a little bit where we've got that one, and then I'm just going to come under the hat around there, and I'm going to do a little bit into there, and then that gives that bland white layer that needs to be white, but adds that little bit of shape because we've gone in and add a little bit of the grey. I'm going to go and take my, what purple will I use? Or pink. Let's do the dark of the pale pink and just dot 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 dot. I'm going to do the same with the mouth, and then there we go. So we will colour in the other ones, but what we'll do is, now that we've done that one, I'm going to go in with my gel pen. Now, as I say, it could be the one that you got within your Academy of Colour. It could be the Sheena's one that Sheena just had lately when it comes to her Bella Luna collection. This is just a Sakura gel pen. You know, if you've been crafting even for a few months, you'll have started to hear or heard the word Sakura when it comes to gel pens. So that's what I've got here. And I am essentially, what I'm going to do is just little wispy lines. I am just going to follow the little lines that are there. I'm even going to add just a little wispy line there and one there. Nothing overly specific. Don't overthink it. Don't complicate it. Just a couple of fast wispy lines into there. Same with the hat. Let's go a little bit into there. See the difference even that makes. Big difference. Round that one there. And then I'm just going to do a little one just there. And that's it. Do the antlers. I'm going to do the same just quickly. And then when it comes to... And that's it. Let's add just a tiny little bit there. And then I'm going to go round there and round there. If you want it, just a little nod there. That's all that I'm doing. That's it. Big difference that makes. Gives it more roundness, it gives it more shape, gives it more definition, and it's just by doing a couple of wispy white lines. So that is our main image. But let's carry on and let's colour the rest. Now we're going to do exactly the same colours. You might want to mix it up. I'm just going to keep it exactly the same colours. So let's go in with our pod. So the dull green blend. Let's go back that way so you can make sense of what I'm doing. And once I've finished the full image, I'll go around the whole lot like I usually do, like I love to do, and that's with the ice grey. So let's go in with a light tone. This is back to being the dull green blend. So let's build that shape, that depth up. You could even go over some of these with your clear sparkle overlays if you want to. So we've now flipped to the darker side of the tri-blend. Circular motions. And then what I'm going to do is, because we've got that pod to the left, I'm just going to come up to the side there. We're then going to go into the mid-tone. And we're going to blend that out. Like so. Let's blend all of that out there. And then we're going to go back to the light tone and blend that out. So let's blend, crossing over to the mid-tone. And I'm happy with that, but what I'm going to do is just quickly give that a quick colour over, lightly bleach out. That's all that I'm doing. Not overly complicated and not complicating it, that's for sure. And in this one, we can only see the centre part. So let's go in with a light tone, colour that, in with the mid-tone, colour that, and then back into the light tone, and then quickly colour. What I am going to do is let's do the pod on this side as well. So let's repeat what we've done. And that's with the light tone, we're just going to colour the whole lot. Sometimes you'll find what I do is, whereas here I'm colouring in the whole lot, sometimes you'll find where it will end up being light, which is along the top, sometimes you see me not colour that far up. Maybe I'll only come about 2/3 of the way. The reason I am colouring it in with this video is I want to try and keep it as simple as possible and not overcomplicate it for anyone that's beginning to colour when it comes to alcohol pens. Even if you don't have our Spectrum Noir alcohol pens, if you don't have tri-blends, maybe you can't invest in them at the moment for whatever reason, but you do have other branded alcohol pens. As long as you've got colour families in different shades, you can still replicate what I'm doing. You might not have our tri-blends, you might have our classic pens. Well, you can still get exactly the same look as I'm doing now. The only difference with our classic pens is instead of 3 shades being in one pen, they're 3 individual pens. So that's dull green. Let me finish this, because it's alcohol base, you want to colour blend and get it to the way that you want it to look before the alcohol evaporates. Once the alcohol evaporates, there is essentially no going back. So you want to make sure you finish your image as and when you're doing it. So as I was away to say, that is your dull green blend, which is DG1, DG2 and DG3. So if I bring in those codes from my classic pens, so those same shades, DG1, that's Willow, DG1. The mid-tone is DG2, which is Bamboo, DG2. And then the dark shade is then your Camel Green, which is DG3. So you'll get the exact same look with your classics, but instead of it being one single pen with the 3 shades in the one pen, classic pens are all individual. And you've got your chisel, and then you've got your bullet nib as well. So that is the look that we've got. Let's not forget our middle one. Or it might be that you've got their tri-blend brushes. Exactly the same. Follow exactly the same, of course, with the tri-blend brushes or the Illustrator pens. They are your Japanese brush nib. But you're still going to get a blend because they're alcohol based. So let's blend that out. And then let's blend that out. There we go. So that's that one. So let's move on to our peas. So let's go in light green blend. So let's go in with the light tone. And colour that in. I love doing masking techniques. I think it's so effective. I was recently on with Sheena, that many of y'all have seen, and just watching her is incredible, absolutely incredible. Just to say as well, I know my mics when it comes to these tutorial videos on YouTube are so good that if you do hear my stomach rumbling, I do apologise. That is exactly what the sound is. If you are hearing a rumbling sound, that is my stomach. I have eaten, but believe it or not, my stomach is always wanting food. So there we go. Let's blend that out. I'm going to blend that out just quickly, just that little bit more. Bleach that out ever so slightly, just to get that blend. And then we're going to go into our next one. Even if you're changing the colour, the lay down of colour is still exactly the same. The only difference is the colour is different, and the only other difference, should you change to choose it, is maybe where the light and the dark source is coming in from. I'm keeping it very kind of natural in the direction, but you might want to change that. So let's just blend that in, and then let's go in with that darker tone. So work our way round the outer edge, following the right hand side of that pod there. So where that pod crosses over into the P, we're still going to follow that outer edge with the dark tone. Going in with the mid-tone, and we're going to blend that out. Blend all the way around. All the way around. And then we're going to finish off with the mid-tone again. So let's blend that out. You don't have to go over the full image with the light tone again if you don't want to. You're still going to get a lovely blend. It's just something that I tend to do now. And if you are going to do it, please be quick. Don't spend too long going back over what you've done with the light tone, because the lighter the colour, the more bleach that's in it. So therefore, the lighter the colour, the more alcohol that's in it. So then therefore it's going to bleach out all of that shading that you've just done. So if you are going to do it relatively quick. Let's go in with the pale pink blend again. I'm just going to go in the darker colour and just dot that in. In the mouth there. So let's go to the opposite side. I'm going with the light green. Circular motions. And colour that in around the mouth. So let's get that colour laid down. Essentially just following around. We're still colouring in the P, but because we've masked it, we're going to have some at the front, some at the back. Irrelevant of where it is and how it looks, you're just going to colour it in the same way. And that means when we go around that outer edge, at the moment we're still following the roundness of the P, and then as soon as it gets to this, we're still just following just around where it comes into contact with. So we're just going to then follow that. I'm just going to come around underneath there. Like so. So instead it continues to go all the way around, which we can't because of course this part of the P is hiding it. We just follow the outer edge. Blend that in with the mid-tone. Blend. Now at this point you'll see, because you're quite close, the mid-tone that I'm using is kind of coming into contact with the mid-tone blend that I've just done on this side. Don't worry about it, don't overthink it, don't overcomplicate it. just blend out what you can, and then we'll go in with the mid-tone, and then we'll just finish that off. So let's go in there. I'm just going to go back into that light tone again, just quickly or lightly blend that out. And happy with that. It's like Ross from Friends. You ever watch Friends? Where that episode where he's in the dark, but his teeth, he says his teeth done, and it's bright white. So let's go in with our last P. Going in with that light tone. So colour all the way throughout the P. You can feel this light tone starting to run out. Let's go in. Now, although our tri-blends aren't refillable, what I would say is, before you think you've got no more use out of it, I would then come along and then I would just store it upright just for a short while to let any excess ink that is left start to go down to the nib. And then what you can do is, if you've got our re-inkers for our Classique, if you were to get LG1 in a tiny little container, like an old glitter container or something, put a few drops of LG1 in the little container, take the lid off and sit that pen in, and then gravity will do its thing and it will soak up a little amount of the LG1 into, of course, the chamber. So that's going to enable you to then, use it a little bit longer. So they're not refillable. There will become a point where you have to discard it, but you can get a little bit more use out of it by doing that. So you can just keep that one in mind. So let's finish that. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to go to the edge. Now, because we're on the edge, you may think, like here I showed with the dark tone go all the way around. You might think, well, you'll come down the side here, but I'm not. I'm just leaving it. It's like this side here. I've got it so we've got the depth all the way around, but because I want to have that as if it is a continuous flow, I am not going to do any dark shade around. I am quite simply going to work all the way around into here. I've started off there. I didn't mean to go, well, let's just do it anyway. I didn't mean to go all the way along the bottom there. I'm not going to do any harm. It's still going to add shape to it. But as you can see here, I didn't want dark along the base there because I want to kind of make it look as though it was just kind of naturally just sitting in the pod. You can add dark if you want, but let's just blend that out. You can see here. So let's blend that out. If you are using the Classique pens, you're going to do exactly what I'm doing. Nothing different. Exactly what I'm doing. It's just the pens are separate. And same goes for, well, any alcohol-based medium that you're using. You're going to do exactly what I've just done. And then, there we go. That's our main pods done. So let's take our pink. Let's do dot, dot, and then the mouth. Then we're going to go in with the Fair Skin blend again. And let's go in with a light tone. These could be, of course, brown if you wanted them to be. Any shade you like. Let's go in with the darker tone. Add that in. Mid-tone. Blend out the best you can because it is a small area. And back with a light tone. I'm going to go in with the earth brown again and just kiss ever so slightly, and then I'm just going to go in with the light tone of the Fair Skin and blend that out. Flip to the other side and let's do exactly the same. So even though that's small and we've got just a small element of the antlers there, Still going to do them separate. I just want to focus on each part individually. You would, if you wanted to then do the light on that, and then blend that, and then blend the third time that and that. You can do each step. It's small enough that you're not going to have the alcohol evaporating that quick. But if you can get into the habit of just doing section by section, then it will help. Blend that out again. And then let's go into here, so light tone. Now of course, you're not going to get the best blend here because it's a tiny little section. Just do the best you can. Tiny little, few little dots. Back into just the base there, around, round, and then round just by kissing it ever so slightly. Little blend, blend, blend and blend. And that's that. Then let's go back in with our dark red blend. And we're going to go in with the light red. And colour that in. And then back in with the dark. So I'm just going to do that little bit there. And just underneath there. And around and a little bit there. I'm going to go in with the mid-tone. Blend. And then back in with the light. And then blend that out. And I'm just going to go back with the dark again, just enhance that just a little bit more, like so. And that's it. And then we just need to do this last bit here. So, light tone. Lay that down. In with the dark, so we're just going to come around and then up slightly. In with the mid, blend that out. In with the light, finish that off. Then I'm going to go back with the dark again, just to enhance that ever so slightly. There we go. Bring in our ice grey blend. Let's do the same there. So let's go round there. Let's go around and around and around. Let me just smooth that out slightly. There we go. And then for this one, again, we're just going to go around and around. Now this one really is drying out. And then there we go. There are our pods. So let's bring in our gel pen again. And let's give that one just a wispy line. What depth is this one? Let's use this one. There we go. And I'm going to go into there, following that. Essentially, I'm just following what I've just done there. So just quick wisp line there. I'm going to go around there, and then in the hat, I'm going to go round. Even that light little bit there and there. And then let's go round there. There's our pod. And then let's finish that off on this side here. So let's go round, and then I'm going to go there, there, and then I'll just get a tiny little bit just poking out there. Going to do the same with the last one here. So it's just a little bit there, 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 and then just into the hat just there. Finish off with a few little squiggles there. There we go. There, as you can see just here, is our cute little peas in the pod. But we want to go in with our grey. We want to go in with our ice grey. Just follow all the way round. Obviously you don't have to, but of course I'm going to. So let's take, because that one's a bit drying out a bit. So let's go in with my ice grey. So this is ice grey 2 that I'm using for this one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to then just follow. So we're going to go around the outer edge. So wherever the black outline connects, we're just going to follow. God, even this one's running out. The amount of ice grey 2 that I go through is ridiculous. So where's my Classique? Let's get my Classique. I don't even know if that's going to be... Oh yeah, that's fine. I'll show you. So this is... It was like an ice grey 2 Classique. So there's 2 tri-blends. I've got another tri-blend. I've got an ice grey 2 Classique in my main collection of Classiques, and these are all extras that I've bought just to make sure. Now I know we've got a refill ink, and I've got a refill ink, but a couple of months ago when we had our ice greys back in stock, I bought a load so that it didn't run out. So if you're looking for ice grey pens the other month and they were out of stock, sorry, it was probably me. So I've gone along the bottom just there, and then we're going to go right now. I am going to have to turn this upside down, but essentially all that we're doing is we're just following all the way around. Wherever you've got your white, even like into there, wherever you've got the white section, I like to go in with my ice grey. So I'm just going to go around. And the ice grey at first, it does look quite dark, but it will soften. This is ice grey 2. So always my go-to is ice grey 2. Some people will use a very light blue, which is absolutely fine. It's whatever you think you like the look of. Most go with a light grey, but there are so many other options. Really light blue, really light green, very, very light tan. So we're following all the way around. This is another thing that's always an option. You never have to go around. You don't have to do anything when it comes to colouring and crafting. But let's follow all the way around. Work our way around. In. And into there. There we go. There are our peas in a pod. Now, I've not got a lot of bleeding come through, but that could have come back into the image if we weren't careful. So it's always worthwhile. Please do make sure you pop a little bit of scrap at the back. But how cool is that? I'm just going to go in. I'm just going to enhance those lines just on the hat there. I think it's worthwhile just doing that. There we go. That's it. That's it. Happy with that. So what we need to do now is we need to put that onto a card blank. So let me get my card blank. Right, do I want... So I've cut that to 5 by 7. Now we will lose a little bit of the image side by side because I'm going to trim it a little bit to fit onto a 5 by 7 card. But even though the one's stamped and coloured, I'll always stamp and colour on the larger size and then trim afterwards. Gives you more of that organic, natural flow. So let's go 5 by 7, which are here. So true. Here we go, 5 by 7. All my card blanks, I know we get asked, or I get asked quite a lot, Craig, where do you get your card blanks? All my card blanks are from Sticks 2. Go figure, who would have thought, eh? For those that are new, that have just joined YouTube channel, if you don't already know, Sticks 2. They're also an adhesive company, but they're just down the road in Newcastle. And if you have heard the story before, I apologise, I'm going to say it again. The very, very, very first 2 crafting items I ever bought 20 odd years ago on QVC UK was a Forever Friends decoupage kit, which at the time Do Crafts done them. Yeah, it was Do Crafts. And I also bought an adhesive kit, which was from Sticks too. And all these years later, 20 odd years down the line, obviously Sarah and Simon have a great relationship with Ruth and her hubby, who own the company. And I've of course been big fans of them for all these years. So that's why I use a lot of their stuff as well. Good friends of mine too. But yeah, love their stuff. Here in the UK, we are so lucky. We have got so many different size card blanks at our fingertips. I know you guys stateside, you don't quite have as big a variety as we do. You can always make them with your white multi-purpose or your larger A3 white multi-purpose and then cut it down to the size that you want. But we are in the UK, we are very, very lucky that we have access to loads of card blanks and the envelopes to go with them. Although with the envelopes, I do tend to like to make my own envelope, which actually we might do within this. So yeah, let's do it within this one. Let's do it. So enough talking. And then let's finish. So 5x7 is my card blank. So let's bring this one back in. And that's 5x7. So I am going to do I might do a red matting layer. So you know what I'm like. My mats and layers are all at 1/4 of an inch increments. So therefore 5x7, what I'm going to have to do is come down 1/2 an inch. So to make it even, I'm going to trim off 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to turn. I'm going to trim 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to turn. I'm going to trim 1/4 of an inch and turn. And then that's also going to be 1/4 of an inch. So that's then making it your 6.5 inches by 4.5 inches. Now you can absolutely cut your Nina cardstock to 4.5 by 6.5 and stamp onto that. Of course you can. I always just like to go to the card size that I'm going to make and then I'll trim it down afterwards. So the reason it's 4.5 by 6.5 is because I'm going to get a bit of red, and that is then going to be 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. I'm just going to make sure, yeah, 4.5. So 4.5 by, okay, I've missed 1/4 of an inch. Or is my card blank wrong? No, my card blank's not wrong. Right, let's do it. Let's take, yeah, ignore everything I've just said there because I've given you the wrong measurement. So my Nina, that is now at 4 1/4 inches. 4 1/4 inches by 6 1/4 inches. My red layer that I'm away to go and do, that will then be 5.5 inches. Oh my God. I'm giving you all these wrong measurements here. Right, Craig. Calm it. Right, here we go. So my card blank is 5x7. My image is now 4 1/4 inches by 6 1/4 inches. I'm going to go and get a bit of red cardstock and I'm going to cut that one to 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches, and that will give me my 1/4 of an inch matting layer that will then go on top of there. Yay, got there in the end. Seriously, how hard could that be? It's only 1/4 of an inch. So let's go in dark red. Let's go in with a bit of dark red. So let's go in with our 12 by 12. Or, what about this one here? Decorative Christmas. So I think that one was from, it wasn't last year, I think it was the year before. I think that came with our layerable, cuttable sentiments. Yeah, I like that shade. I like that shade. Is that any? No, I'm going to have to take that piece that's out. So let's take that one out. So if you do happen to have Decorative Christmas, I'm sure that came from our cuttable, layerable Christmas sentiments, which I loved. If not, then any shade of red. So So once again, let's get that right, Craig. 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches. That's given me my perfect matting layer, which is then going to go onto there, that we can see just here. Do you know what I'm also going to do, which I think, yeah, I think it's also going to just give it that little bit of an oomph. Just a teeny little bit of an oomph. Let's go in with some black. This is our black matte. So the red is 4.5 by 6.5. So what I'm going to do, let's cut that to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Now that's going to give me my 1/4 inch matting layer, but that's, for me, that's going to be too thick. You know, it will work, but for me it's just going to be a little bit too thick. So what I'm then going to do, which many of you know, if I want a thinner frame, I'll still cut it to the largest 1/4 inch, but then I'll just trim a few millimeters until I'm happy with the frame, which I'm happy with that. That one is just a little bit. Remember, always check your cardstock. If you think your mats and layers aren't quite right, always check your cardstock just to make sure that it is cut evenly. Which I've got a little bit of an angle there. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to stick it as it is and then trim afterwards. So let's go in with my tape. And my tape is always my go-to. My tissue tape, which ironically is 6-2s as well. We do have a Crafter's Companion, not always, but sometimes we do have a finger lift tape. I don't tend to use finger lift tape, but finger lift just means that the backing is wider than the actual adhesive, so you can lift it off easier with your fingernail or a pokey tool. So one of these cards, these pieces of cards, isn't exactly straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that I'm straight along the bottom. So I'm straight there and I'm straight there. I'm a little bit off here at the top. So as long as you've got one edge that is straight, I'm just going to eyeball and take a little slither off till I am completely happy with the layer. Get it that you want. So you can either do slither by slither before you add your layers together, or you can do exactly what I'm doing here, and that is take matte and layer them all together and then just take little slithers off. There we go, I'm happy with that. Nice, very fine black matte and layer. Now before we stick that on, we need to do our sentiment. So I'm going to come along. Actually, I think, do you know what I think will be worthwhile doing as well? Let's frame that. So this, what I'm going to do, let's bring that down another. So instead of doing 1/4 inch all the way round, what I'm going to do is 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, which is then going to take me to 6 inch, and 1/4 inch, which is going to take me to 4 inch. Now, you don't need to worry about doing that if you cut and stamp your cardstock to the size that you want, which is 4 by 6. It's just, if you do make your card bigger and cut afterwards, those were the measurements. And then again for this one, let's cut that to 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. Now that black matte layer is going to be far too big for what I want, so let's do that again. So just a couple of millimeters, maybe about 2 to start with, 2, and then line that up. Must be my black card that's completely out, because it really is completely out. So a couple of millimeters again, just until I can get it the way I want. Semi-happy with that, still a little bit off, so I'm going to matte and layer that and then trim like I done a moment ago. But before that, let's do our sentiment. Now, you could have done your sentiment right at the very beginning. There is no rhyme nor reason as to why I didn't. You know, stamp it at the start, stamp it at the end. It does not really matter. But I just want to focus on my colouring. So let's come in with our stamp. And we're going to pop that down into there. You can see what I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So I'm centre there. So then that means that is centre. There's my centre line. So let's get that as central as I possibly can. I'm going to stick my... I thought I was sticking my head in the way there. Let's bring that into there. I think that's fine. Bring our stamping platform in and press. Let that settle. And then I'm going to use the flagstone again. Turn that over. Press. Hap-pea Christmas. So to finish that off, let's take our ice grey too, because I'll do it with the sentiments as well. Let's take our ice grey, and for this, I know sometimes some people get a little bit daunted by this when it comes to anything like a sentiment. Please don't. Again, like your design, all you're going to do is follow everything. So even if you want to do letter by letter, now I know that looks a little bit of a mess, but once it actually lightens, then it will get a little bit lighter. So wherever you've got white space, even that tiny little dash, draw around it. So you're drawing around your letter, inside your letter, the same, work your way around, like so. So it is one of those, it is so simple, but sometimes it's a little bit off-putting as to be like, I don't exactly know what I'm drawing around. To make it easy, for me, I would just, like what I would do here is just draw around the outer edge. And then I would just semi-quick go in the middle. But if that's what's putting you off, then just do what I done a moment ago. Letter by letter, image by image, whatever you want. And that's more than enough. I'm just going to round that there. And that's more than enough. That will lighten ever so slightly. And then there is, I know that looks like I've not gone in there, but I have done. There's Hap-pea Christmas. So that can then go onto our black card. There. Remember, you've got your glossy highlights as well. You've got things such as, actually, there's something else. Let's do, no, let's not. I was about to add glitter in that, but let's not. Let's just keep it the way it is. And if you want to add glitter and sparkle pen or anything like that, then by all means, you can absolutely do that. I'm going to keep this in the simplest form for you to do as you wish. So let's come in with that piece of black, that matte and layer. Let me just zoom out a little bit more for you to see. So again, my black's a little bit off, so along the bottom, I'm making sure that I'm semi-straight there. You can see I'm a little bit off here. So obviously my black card, and I'm just going to trim and trim, and actually let's find that edge. There we go. And then you'll see, just adding that additional matte and layer, the difference that makes there. Big, big difference. Still looks lovely without it, so please don't feel as though you have to do it. But you can see that difference there. So this layer, we're going to put on our double-sided tape. Also, just to say as well, sometimes I'll go all the way around like I'm doing now. Sometimes I'll just go back and forwards. If you ever see me doing it this way or going edge to edge, once again, there's no rhyme nor reason as to why I do it either way. It's just kind of automatic. So that's going to go onto here. Then this one is going to go on with our foam pads. So let's bring in our foam pads. So let's add that. These foam pads are they're 3mm in depth. So you might want to go shallower, you might want to keep it flat, but you can do any of that. Now before I do stick that on, let's do my insert. And as always, at this moment in time, I don't know who it's going to be going to. So we're going to keep it blank for now. Because I might give it to an older family member, or I might give it to the younger generation in my family. And what piece is this cardstock? So let's cut this one to 4 by 6. Cut it 4 by 6. If you watch me in the past, you know that I like my inserts relatively smaller than the actual inside. So I'm making use of this piece of black, which is 4 by 6. So let's take a piece of our white multi-purpose and cut it to 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. If you want to have your insert the full size, 5 by 7, of course you can. It's just my personal preference. But at least then the insert is ready to stamp for whoever I know as to who I'm going to give it to. Or I can still come along and print out my insert, because sometimes I print my inserts and just simply mat and layer that inside. But at least the main bulk of the insert is done. So let's line that up. Let's straighten that, because that's skew-whiffed. Let's bring that into there. Line that up. Trim that ever so slightly. So. And then just, let's just take, I think that's just fine. Yeah, that's us there. The other thing with my mats and layers for my inserts, many of you all heard me talk about this before, but for those that are new to watching me on my YouTube channel here with all my Crafter's Companion goodies, the mat and layer for my insert, I'll always use the darker colour from the front. So the darker colour for my mats and layers on the front is black. So that's what I'm using. I could have used red. Red would still work. Of course it would, absolutely. But for me, visually, it's more pleasing on my eye. The mat and layer for my insert is the darkest tone that I've used on the outside. So the darkest tone of my mats and layers is black. So that's why I use the black one. But you can go red, you can go green, you can go gold or silver, whatever you want. But it's just my way of doing it, and the way that I like to explain it. So let's take that off here. Let's bring that in there. That's it, inside ready to go whenever I am. And then let's bring in that there. And then we've got things like our glitters, our sparkle pens, our glitter pens, all of that is ready to add if you want. And then let's just press that into place. And then let's do gems. I moved it. See what I mean? Because as many of you know, I used to have them sitting there. Now I've moved them. So let's do black. Black gems. yeah, black's got a nice flow to it. So let's bring in. Gems that I use are either Hunky Dories or Dawn Bibbies. So these ones that I'm using are Dawn's. So I'm just going to get my glue going. So I've just got a tiny little block. Let me get it. A little bit of wire. So if it does ever happen to unblock, which is very rare because I always keep that just a little old tub, and I keep a little damp wipe in there. It is a baby wipe, and then as it starts to dry out, I pop in I spritz it with a little bit of water, but it can sometimes dry out. So this is just very, very, very fine jewellery wire that we use for flower forming, and I keep one just to deblock. So that's me good to go. So let's do 1, 2, 3 little dots there. Bring in the black gems like here. I'm going to use these, not the smallest ones, but the second smallest ones. So let's pop that on. And then let's align them up better. Actually, they're already pretty much aligned, but there we go. Let's pop that on. And then let's do dot, dot, dot. And the same here. If you've got any gems or pearls or that left over from all of your subscription boxes, you know, get them out and use them. So let's then pop that in. Do you know what I'm also tempted to do as well? Yep, happy with that. Now I might not commit with what I'm away to do. Let's get a little bit of ribbon out. So this is just some of my ribbon stash. Just some. I've got great big reels and reels of it underneath there, which I'll give you 3 guesses from where they're from. Absolutely. Sticks too. Yeah. Not just adhesives. Right, I should have a very thin, yeah I do. I've got very thin red satin ribbon. Now it's 3mm in thickness, this one, and it's a satin ribbon. So let's tie a bow. Now this is something I get asked quite a lot. So tying a bow, even when it comes to something small and dainty like this. This is the Dawn Bibby method as well. So bunny ears, crossover, and then this one here, this loop, is going to loop underneath here, and then we're going to pull. So I'm just making sure my tail is still there, and then we're just going to pull the loops and the end. Let's just catch that so it's falling out. So I'm not bothered about falling out because it gives me a chance to show you again. So loop, that's a bunny ears, Dawn would call it, crossover, and then we're going to then pull that under, making sure our tail is still sticking out the end there, so we can just pull that in, and then you're just going to keep manipulating all of that until you've got it the way that you want it. And I want it a really, really small bow. Really small. Let's bring in my scissors. Oh, I've got a scissor stuck in my finger. And then a little tail. I always do an angle, I never do V's. Something I've never been a fan of is the look of little V's in the tail ends. And I think it even just... see, I don't know. It's a nice thought. Even, let's see what it looks like. Even a tiny, tiny little bow. The smallest of bows. Just gives it just a little bit more tactile. Just add in a little bow. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for it. So let's bring in my silicone. Let's bring in my poke tool. So the poke tool that I use for my glue gel and silicone. You've seen me doing it on Crafters TV and Hobby Maker and that. I always use a syringe. No, I don't use a syringe. I don't use the syringe. I always use a poke tool. Let's see if I can find the poke tool that I use. Not that it really matters, but the poke tool that I use, I always just have a little bit of masking tape around it. So I use the same one. I can't find it and I'm not going to faff about. Oh gosh. Ah, there it is. There it is. Like I say, I could have just used my normal poke tool, but I always just happen to use the same one for glue gel or silicone. And then just a tiny little bit onto the back. Take that little bit of the excess off. And I'm just going to pop that there. And that is, as Gordon Ramsay would say, done. There we go. So we have used our Hap-pea Christmas stamp set. We've then used our Nina cardstock. We've used our Flagstone alcohol proof ink pad. We've then used our dull green blend and our light green blend of our tri-blend. We've used the fair skin blend and a little bit of the earth brown for the antlers. Then for the hats, we've used the dark red blend. We've used for the mouth and the little cheeks, the pale pink blend. And for the shadow and on the outside edge, we've used the ice grey too. Gone in with a little white gel pen in there, black matte cardstock, red cardstock, a 5x7 card blank, and then finished off with a few gems and a little bow there. And there is your 5x7. And let's not forget, we've done the masking technique. So you can either use your Crafter's Companion mask it on a roll, or I use Sticks 2's masking sheets. Both do exactly the same thing. It's just whether you prefer it on a roll or you prefer it on a sheet, which I prefer on a sheet. But there we go. Get that in there. Let's not forget we did do our insert as well. Ready to go. Insert is ready to go for whenever we want. And then added the little bow there. So it just adds a little bit more tactile feel to it. Happy Christmas with the gems. And you've got all of the different crafty tools that you can add. You could use your, if you've got your puffy snow, if you've got your glitters, if you've got your glitter pens, your sparkle pens, anything like that. Your glitter paste, your glitter glues. Glitter glues, that would have been a good one that I could have used. I'm not going to do it now. But you could have used glitter glues. We could have used the glitter glues. But there we go. Little bit of colouring. First time that I've done fully focused colouring when it comes to my YouTube channel, my Crafter's Companion YouTube channel. And of course, this is the sort of thing that really shows off it being unedited. Because there's no jumping, there's no here's one that I've done earlier, there's no here's what it looks like once you've done. It is step by step by step. So therefore, if you do want to craft along with me when it comes to these videos, it means you can do that because I'm doing it at the real time. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. I really enjoyed that one. It's been lovely to have your company. Now I know, of course, at the time of filming, I don't actually have you here, but I speak to you as if you are here watching. Always love to see your comments as well, so keep them coming when it comes to my Crafter's Companion YouTube channel. As always, I know I sound like a broken record as well, but please do make sure that you subscribe, because then, of course, every time you go onto your YouTube, you'll see any updated videos there for you to view. However, if you hit that bell, that means as soon as I upload a brand new tutorial video here, then you will be notified. And if you like them, please do always make sure that you give me a little thumbs up. Really appreciate that little bit of a thumbs up as well. So these are the three main things to do when you're on YouTube and you're watching any YouTube channel. Do the same as well when it comes to the Crafters Companion / Crafters TV. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell, and then certainly make sure that you give a thumbs up to all of the shows that you enjoy watching. And of course you can add them to the playlist as well when it comes to your YouTube channel. But thank you so much. Really enjoyed that one once again. Enjoy them all, let's face it. But it was lovely to do that little bit of colouring as well. And then it gives me that relaxation mode as to what I'm showing you and going over. So until the next time, I will see you very soon here on my Crafters Companion YouTube channel. Bye.